A client of mine just paid double their usual rate to be told exactly what I had told them for months, and they were disappointed. But here's the thing. I don't blame them. In fact, most of us do this every single day. I'm Dibs, a personal trainer and group fitness instructor. I also have my adaptive and inclusive trainer certification, a bunch of other certifications that don't really let me put extra letters at the end of my name, and nothing that's of a university degree level. But I am very self-taught, I guess, in figuring out how to work with people who have injuries and disabilities, and I have a lot of lived experience because I am clumsy. I've had a lot of injuries. And I've been lucky enough to work alongside people who are athletic therapists, physios, and kinesiologists and all that sort of stuff, and they've taught me a lot in the almost 10 years that I've been a trainer. So here is what happened with my client. This online client that I have in Montreal has had pain sort of in their trapezius, and it's been nagging them a little bit behind their scapula and just where people usually hold tension for months now. And I gave them a bunch of exercises to do, rehab exercises, and we do it together in their session when we have live video calls, and I've given them a program with videos to follow at home and classic homework to do and all that sort of stuff. And they just keep complaining about the problem. It's one of those things. I've had a chronic shoulder pain before, especially when I've been stressed and life has been difficult, and there are things going on as well that are sort of just giving you anxiety and stress and all that sort of stuff. But also, if you're just using it constantly, it's gonna hurt. It's the rehab exercises are gonna work a little bit slower or not at all if you keep doing things that are exacerbating the pain. They weren't looking for better exercises, they were just looking for more certainty. And you'll see, I recorded our conversation about what they wanted from searching or asking different health professionals about this issue that they had. A lot of us can have this urge. I mean, I am a bit of a hypochondriac. It's weird. I flop. I'm either super worried or like, eh. And a lot of us can have this urge to go and get a scan, a diagnosis, a physical exam. And we have this white coat thing that we do where we associate a higher price tag with a more correct truth or diagnosis or quality of care. You think the more that you pay someone or the harder it is to get an appointment with a specialist, the more truth you're going to get. That's unfortunately not how it works all of the time. Some of the time, sure, but not all the time. So this client went and they paid almost double what they pay me for a session, which I told them that. I said, if you go to a specialist, you're just going to pay them extra and they're going to give you the exact same exercises that I did. So you know what happened when we logged on? This. So all of the exercises that Eden just showed me right now, I don't know what part of the screen it's going to record, if it's going to record everything, but Eden has just showed me exercises from the physio because they were worried about their back and their neck. I gave them exercises, but they wanted a second opinion. I said, it's just going to be more expensive. And so you said no evaluation. You just said what hurt, and they gave you some exercises, right?
We thought, but he didn't want it to check or assess the damage. No,
He didn't want to check
I am
anything.
I am paying that guy to do the job that you can do in person. Yes, yes, yes. He helped me with something, but I can go to any gym or coach. Their prices are insane. Plus, I download the program and I have to log on the website. Don't even have a PDF.
So you have to log on to this app every time. You don't even have it on a piece of paper.
The app doesn't exist anymore. So I need to have internet. I wanted to have like a health professional, but
Like an
too
evaluation.
hard to handle. What I need to see is an ergotherapist.
What type of therapist?
Ergotherapist. Someone like will here how you're gonna manage your wounds on the day to day.
If you did have a physical assessment, what is your desired outcome of that? What do you
I
think
want
they
to.
will tell you that I can't tell you?
Here's your body.
Yeah.
Here's what we need to do to body. It will be a doctor. They need to give you here the condition. Here what you need to avoid to not make it worse. Here what you need. Health shouldn't be a privilege of the wealthy.
Exactly.
That's my radical notion.
Yeah. Shouldn't be so radical. So Eden, what you ideally want is someone to say, do not do this, avoid doing this, and do more of this. Is that correct?
Yes, is that too much to ask?
So the problem that Eden had wasn't the lack of information, it was the lack of belief in the simplicity of the solution. Humans are hardwired to believe that a difficult situation requires a complex solution or expensive or medicalized or whatever you want to call it. And this is so true for many, many, many things just about the health and fitness industry in general. When at least for building muscle and the exercises that we're doing, they've been the same for 50 plus years and they work, but people keep coming up with new stuff because we're like, surely there's more than that. I'm not against a little bit of research and development and bettering ourselves, but we tend to overcomplicate it when we don't have to, or we avoid doing the simple thing because we think it's wrong, but it's the thing that's going to help you. When the answer is simple, like basic rehab exercises, we often feel like it's not enough. Surely this little thing isn't going to do the trick, when it does. And you start to do them and you think they're not working, but you're just not doing them frequently enough, or you're not doing them thoughtfully enough, or you're doing them, like I said earlier, and also doing an activity that's going to exacerbate the pain in another way. When something doesn't feel like it's enough to us, like it's a simple solution, then we seek more expensive validation that ultimately tells us what we already knew. It's a documented psychological phenomenon that we're trained to value clinical and expensive over practical and consistent. Hey, it's Future Dibs editing the video here. If you are enjoying this content, please hit subscribe, like, comment. I make videos specifically for people who are navigating injury and getting back to movement, and people who are neurodivergent. Let's get back to the video. A famous 2008 study that was published in an article I'll put in the description found that the price of a treatment directly changes how well it works in our brains. So for this experiment, participants were given pain pills that were actually just placebos. Half were told that the pill cost $2.50, and the other half were told that it cost just 10 cents. And 85% of the expensive pill group reported significant pain relief compared to only 61% of the cheap pill group. We don't just pay for the service that we're seeking. Our brains actually buy the results. If it's expensive, we believe it's more effective, even if the treatment is identical. In the rehab world, there's an acronym called VOMIT, or the VOMIT effect, victims of modern imaging technology. And it shows that patients who receive early MRI scans for back pain often have worse outcomes than those who don't. And in the evidence, it explains that seeing a bulging disc on a screen makes the patient feel more broken, leading to fear avoidance behavior. And use it or lose it. We don't move, things are just going to get worse. Sometimes a diagnosis is just a label for a normal part of being human. But once we have that label, we stop moving because we're afraid of breaking what the doctor found. And then there's complexity bias. This is a logical fallacy where we look at the complex problem, chronic pain, and assume that the solution must be equally complex. We reject simple because it feels insufficient for the weight of our struggle. Therefore, the message that I want you to take home from this video is that sometimes you may be searching for answers that you already have, and something that getting a diagnosis, whether it's big or small, can do that is a real bummer is that when someone says, oh, you've got a bulging disc or you've got tendinitis. Like, tendinitis sounds scary, but it's just inflammation. But it's just this word that people, I know I can't do, I've got tendinitis. It may give you a false sense of progress, like having that word to describe your problem, but it might make you more afraid to move. And if you find yourself doing that, then you just get trapped in this cycle of not moving, more pain, have injury, not moving, more pain, get told you have injury, not moving, etc., etc. And then it just snowballs. One of my weird little neurodivergent obsessions is I try and find the midpoint where the quality has capped, and then the price, when it goes up after a certain amount of quality, it's just marketing and branding and things like that. And I'm obsessed with everything from like my shoes to appliances to flights. I'm like, okay, where do I get the most value for my money? And then what else on top of that is just fluff. And so yes, this isn't to shame anybody. This isn't to shame Eden. This isn't to shame anyone that's watching that has this thing what they're like, what's wrong with me? Something's wrong with me. I need to find out. Because we all do it. We all want answers and something tangible to hold on to be like, okay, this is this thing and I have a goal. Sometimes it helps with thinking, okay, you're working towards this thing, or it could be used as an excuse to not do a thing. It happens to everyone. And looking for more answers is usually a way to avoid the hard thing, the hard, boring work. Oh my gosh. The more I say this, the more I speak in this video, the more I realize, oh my God, I am my ideal client. This video is talking about me, and I am avoiding a lot of hard things by just researching and not doing the hard business things that I'm avoiding, because I need to research so it can be perfect. What I want you to do is do your rehab exercises, step 1, and think about how the beauty of some of life's simplest inventions and how well they work, and how simple some parts of nature are that are just so wonderful and effective. Sometimes simple solutions are the best. It's hilarious when we realize the point that we've missed the whole time. For example, during the space race, NASA reportedly spent millions developing a pen that could write in zero gravity, underwater, in extreme temperatures, you know, something like James Bond would have. And then in the end, the Soviets, they just used a pencil. The super fancy NASA pen and the basic pencil, they both get the graphite on the paper. One just costs a lot more to satisfy our need for tech. Another example that relates extremely well to the health and fitness industry, and something that I literally could pull my hair out about because it frustrates me so much, is the detox tea versus water. People will spend $100 on a 21-day liver detox kit with 40 ingredients that they can't pronounce. Meanwhile, their body is already a world-class detox system. Your liver and kidneys, that mostly just needs water. We want the potion because it feels like a proactive purchase. We ignore the water because it's free and too easy. Surely that's not going to work. Or what about the paperclip? This little thing. It is a single piece of bent wire. It hasn't changed in 100 years. And there have been countless inventions to replace it, staplers, binders, digital files. But for the specific job of holding two pieces of paper together, the simplest design remains champion. Sometimes a solution isn't better because it has more moving parts. It's better because it works with the least amount of friction. Not everything is super complicated. I mean, space is very complex and scary, like outer space, yeah. But a lot of things in life don't need to be that complex. So that's my video. If you've ever felt like you were looking for a magic pill, don't beat yourself up. We all want the easy way out because being in pain is exhausting. The most empowering realization that you can have is that you're not broken, and the solution is already within your reach. You don't need a miracle, you just need a plan. And you probably already have it. You can pay double the price or 10 times the price for a new opinion, but at the end of the day, your body doesn't care about the price tag of the advice. It only cares about the stimulus that you give it. You can spend your time digging for a new answer, or you can spend your time doing the work that's already right in front of you. One costs money, the other costs effort. And for some reason, we much rather spend money than spend effort. And I'm talking to myself. Don't worry, I'm in it with you. Choose the one that actually fixes the problem. I want to hear about your experiences around this sort of thing in the comments. Have you ever paid for a pro and just been told something that you already knew? Drop your story in the comments and let's talk about why we do this to ourselves. See you later, Dibblings.